Lester, the principal cornet player from Leeds. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you find your performance with Leeds today?
Yeah, I thought it went really, really well, and just in the dressing room after, everyone else thought it went really, really well. So we're really, really happy with how we performed. I think out of all the runs we've done, that's certainly the best one we've done. So yeah, like I say, we're really happy.
Yeah, amazing. So talk me through the inspiration for like the themes and, you know, putting together the pieces in your set. You know, how did it come about?
Yeah, so it's always quite difficult for entertainment contests trying to choose a theme and link the pieces together. So there was a bit of, we were talking in rehearsals, and the conductor Gethin, he was trying to get, people's feedback, and we ultimately decided on the animal theme. So yeah, so obviously there's loads of pieces that we could have chosen. So we chose Birdland, Circle of Life, in no order. You know what it was.
Yeah.
They've been listening, but yeah.
Bit of chicken run.
Yeah, a bit of chicken run. Get the Yorkshire roots in there.
So you were first in the Shield section last year, it says in my notes.
Yes.
So you moved up to trophy. So
yeah.
Congratulations on that. How confident are you feeling for the band in terms of the results later?
Yeah, I think we feel really good. It's our first year in the trophy section, so it's an opportunity to really cement our place as a band that deserves to be in this section. I'm a first year, so I wasn't in that victory in the Shield section. But yeah, we feel confident. We put in a good performance, and it's just down to the adjudicators to hopefully give us a good placing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sounded fantastic here from the studio, and you were a feature in a couple of the pieces, so as a first year that must have felt like quite a big achievement.
Yeah, it was a bit nerve-wracking, but it was a good opportunity to show what I can do. So yeah, I was grateful for the opportunity, yeah.
Yeah, well, fantastic, and thank you for coming to chat, and thank you for waiting with our little delay there, and good luck for the results later, which isn't long to go now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
fantastic.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
And in a very in-and-out sort of fashion, I'm now joined by, would you like to introduce yourself, from Chichester?
Yeah, so I'm Luke, and I'm from the University of Chichester.
Fantastic. So, Luke, how did you find your performance on behalf of the band?
I think, we played really well. It's always difficult playing in a sort of environment like that. But yeah, I think we really played to our best, and we gave a good account of ourselves, I think.
Yeah, it sounded fantastic from back here. So, like I've asked all the other bands, do you just want to talk me through your set? How did you, choose the pieces, put them together?
Yeah, so we had a theme of our set, which was to do with America. So we started with Sweet Georgia Brown. Then we went on to Meet All the Traffic, which is based on the tune of Shenandoah, which is the American river. Then we went to Liberty Bell, which is the march, obviously, American march. And then, what did we do after that?
It was
Liberty Bell, and then we had
Ain't Necessarily So after
That's It,
that,
from Porgy and Bess. And then we finished with Birdland.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Was there any reasoning for America? Is there any, links to the band?
I don't think so, no, not that I'm aware of. But yeah, it's just a theme that went through all the music, and it all linked in very well, and yeah.
Yeah, it was a fantastic set. So, Chichester as a band, you've been in the trophy section for a while now.
Yeah.
Coming fourth last year. How confident do you feel about the results this year? Do you think you can break the top three, maybe?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Yeah, as I said, I think we gave a good account of ourselves, and we played, to the best of that we could today. So I'd like to think that what we sort of performed out there is able to break the top three. Yeah,
well, fantastic. Thanks for coming to chat.
No worries.
Very good luck to you and the band for the results, which isn't long to go now. I think we're going to go to a short ad break, and then we'll be going over to the Shield studio. Hello and welcome back. Sorry for the technical hitch before. We are back in this studio with a representative from the Navy. Would you just like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm Colour Sergeant Michael Smith. I'm here as part of the attraction team for the Band of His Majesty's Royal Marines.
Fantastic. So do you just want to tell us a bit about your career in the Navy?
Yeah, of course. As all that join the Band of His Majesty's Royal Marines, we start up from the lowest rank at the beginning as a musician. I joined as a percussionist. My background is actually brass banding, originally from Cornwall. Once you get selected through audition process, you do musical training in Portsmouth and then branch out to one of the wider trained bands, of which I've been in for 18 years now. I've served in Dartmouth Band, Colombo Band, Scotland and Portsmouth. I've just finished a 5-year position in the Royal Marine School of Music as the senior instructor and a percussion instructor there. And recently, May of last year, took over the position as the lead for the specialist attract team.
Wow, that's absolutely fantastic. And what would you say is the highlight of your career?
Highlight of my career, I'd say the array of opportunities for performance around the world has got to be one of the big ones. But personally, mixing sport and music is a big thing for me. So to be able to travel to represent the Navy in sport is a bonus. But performing solo and duet features in the Mountbatten Festival of Music in the Royal Albert Hall on a couple of occasions has got to be the highlight for me.
Gosh, that's absolutely amazing. So you said that your background's in brass banding. So would you like to talk a little bit about how you got into brass banding?
Yeah, of course. So everybody's start to music is generally the same. Either at school you get thrust upon an instrument that here's a recorder, here's a cornet, or whichever instrument that your music teachers can provide for you. I was the young kid that wasn't even good enough to make the recorder choir, so I was triangle and tambourine at the side. That's how it started for me. My mum was a successful amateur brass bander cornet player, and instead of doing my homework, I would go and play percussion in the back of the rehearsal for second section brass band in Cornwall, Bugle Silver. And then I started in Mount Charles Youth Band and progressed to their championship section band until about 2004 when I joined up. We were at championship section level, competing in some of the bigger contests, the Grand Shield and the All England Masters that it was at the time.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. And what would you say, just random question, is your favourite brass band piece to play?
Yeah, it's quite a tough one. I'm a fan of marches, which isn't a surprise. Joining the military, but the one that sticks in my mind, certainly as a Cornishman in the brass bander, would be the floral dance. We played that quite a lot, so let's go with that one.
I do love the floral dance, especially if you've seen Brass Off.
Of course,
one of my favourite films, one of my favourite moments in the films. So if people want to get in touch with you and the Navy, where can they go? Who can they contact?
So we are heavily involved in the social medias, like everybody is now. So Facebook and Instagram under the Band of His Majesty's Royal Marines, you'll find it on there. Directly to us, it's careers@royalmarinesbands.co.uk is an email address which comes to me and my team. But generally, if you go to the Royal Navy website and look under the musician branch or trade, it'll give you all the information on there, including those email addresses. They come through to me and I'll answer any questions that sort of required towards a career and application in the Royal Marines Band Service.
Okay, amazing. Well, thanks for coming to chat.
No
I think we're going to head over to a previously recorded interview with Matthew Ludford King. So hope you enjoy that.
Hello and welcome to another interview for the UniBrass Foundation. And my name is Brett Baker, and it gives me great pleasure here to interview Matt Ludford King. So thank you very much, Matt, for taking part in this.
No problem, Brett. It's great to see you. Great to be here.
I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about what you've been doing, because certainly this is quite new to me in terms of what happens at UniBrass with the competition element. So it's going to be interesting to sort of just have a little bit of a look at what happened last year and what you're looking forward to this year. So, first of all, can you tell me a little bit about your banding background? If you're a conductor, I guess that you have done some playing at some point in your career, even if you're now studying conducting.
Yeah, so believe it or not, most of my playing was yonks ago as a trombonist like yourself. So, well, I say that I started on euphonium actually in the Hampshire County. So, as most of us do, I started on euphonium and I came through the Hampshire County youth band system. So, I'm from right down south. There's not a great deal of banding down in that area of the world. So, it wasn't really until I was 17, 18 that I really got introduced to the real banding world, as you would put it. But actually, when that happened, I went in on percussion. So a lot of my band playing, and certainly now, is on percussion. So I'm currently playing timpani with Tredegar, as well as occasionally dropping in on trombone as and when I need to, or when I can sort of get my foot in the door, really, a little bit. But other than that, really, that's pretty much it. Most of my focus is on conducting. And yeah.
Yeah, but
it would be a long story.
No, that's great. And I mean, one of the I would suggest one of the important things about conducting is to know a variety of instruments. So, for instance, if you can understand euphonium and trombone and percussion, that's actually quite a brilliant mix to then progress in terms of then understanding their issues as you get into the conducting aspect of life. So no, that's you sound perfectly qualified to me, which brings me on to my next question, which is that last year you won the Best Student Conductor Award at the competition, which is fantastic. So I guess you had a good time last year and that you're looking forward to this year. But I wondered if that's changed either your outlook at all or whether the phone's been ringing non-stop as a result of getting it, and whether it's sort of changed your perspective in terms of conducting.
I'd love to say that the phone's been blowing up, but there's not a lot of jobs going at the moment. But no, it's really just been part of the journey. It's a fantastic accolade to have received, and I'm incredibly humbled to have gotten the award. There were some fantastic student conductors there on the day as well. I mean, I feel sorry for the adjudicators having to pick one out of the bunch. But you know, I'm so grateful to have got it. But yeah, it's very much just sort of kept me on the straight and narrow, thinking, right, okay, I can do this. Basically, I've had a lot of self-doubt before, and especially trying to break into the industry through COVID, which is I started my course in conducting just as lockdown restrictions were starting to, just ease a little bit. So yeah, it really, it hasn't boosted in terms of getting loads of jobs coming in, but it certainly has given me the boost I need to think that, right, this is what I want to do. And it really did give me that nice, I hate to say it, little ego boost. So,
no, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, do you think you'll feel any pressure because there's a bit of expectation now for this year's competition?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm already feeling the pressure. I can tell you that now. I'm already really, really deep in the scores, and it's not easy. I've got some really, really challenging pieces to tackle with the band. So I'm getting my end of things sorted as best as I can before we really delve deep.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's fabulous. And I mean, as some people would put it, then pressure is a privilege. So if you're in that position, it's a good thing. Okay, so and also as a result, or probably not as a result, but because you're doing so well in the conducting side of things, then I think you also won an award at the Conservatoire in Birmingham as well.
So I was really, really lucky to receive the conducting prize for last year's cohort, which was totally unexpected. I had no idea. I just got an email one day saying you've been nominated, and then I'd won. So that was really, really lovely to kind of get recognised in the Conservatoire as well, because at the Royal Birmingham Conservatoire, we have 3 conducting courses, which are the orchestral, brass band, and choral. So we have at the moment, we've got a cohort of about 10 postgraduate conductors, and to be, picked out of the lot was, again, really, really just an honour, to be honest. And totally unexpected. I have to admit.
Good, yeah. And what are your plans once you finish? Because I think you're in your third year at the moment there. So I guess this is your final year if you're doing part-time. And so what are your plans after that?
Well, so at the moment, I'm really lucky to be teaching with Services for Education in Birmingham. So I'm a peripatetic brass teacher around the city. So I'm definitely planning on continuing that because it's wonderful to be able to go into schools and sort of every hour of the day, you've got 30 different cornet players in front of you, or tenor horns, baritones, trombones, the lot. So that's really where a lot of my energy is focused during the daytime. But certainly, I want to try and build up a bit more of a portfolio of ensembles. So I currently work with Clibri Mortimer Concert Brass, who are based out in Shropshire. Wonderful, wonderful band. And they were actually the first, well, they are the first contesting band I've ever conducted. So they were my sort of breakthrough before UniBrass being my first ever contest as a conductor, and then the area shortly following. So I'm going to be doubling down my efforts with them. Of course, we've got the area coming up as well. Hopefully as well, once I've finished the course, maybe a nationals. You never know.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but hopefully maybe picking up a few more jobs in the evenings just to keep me busy, keep me off of the tee and all that. So yeah.
Good.
Keeping myself busy.
No, that sounds great, and it's great that you're already set up, so that it's not that you're looking for something and having the stress that a lot of students get, which is they finish the course, then okay, what now? So now, brilliant. And so, looking at this year, and we've got a few weeks left before the competition. What are you most looking forward to in terms of the UniBrass Festival in February?
You know what? One thing we didn't get a chance to do last year because we were a really late draw and there were problems with the coach and everything. We got there just on time to get on stage. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting to hear some of the other bands. Because we're early drawn, which is great. Some may say, but I'm actually going to have a chance to sit and listen, and I can't wait to hear what the other universities have to bring because as a student, having been a student for the past 6 years and coming from a university before the conservatoire that didn't have a brass band, it's great to see that this culture is growing and it is thriving, in fact, in our student population. So I can't wait to hear what's coming up because there's going to be some really exciting programs. There's going to be some wonderful, wonderful playing. I just can't wait. It's honestly.
Oh, good. And would you say that as a result of, I guess, the whole UniBrass experience, it's obviously going to be really important that you're doing lots of things outside of just that, and that's going to help. But do you think UniBrass in any way has helped you in terms of confidence as a conductor?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think it has. Yeah, absolutely. Because it was my first ever contest as a conductor, so it kind of broke the ice a little bit, and it's a really, really friendly environment to be sort of competing in. How these things can go when competition's involved. Things can be a little bit too stressful and under pressure. But no, the fact was when we were in the warm-up room, the changing rooms, and the bag drop-offs and everything, everybody was so lovely. It was great to catch up with so many friends from across the country who I didn't even know had carried on in brass banding as well from years and years ago when I was in the youth band. So to sort of catch up with people and make new friends as well, which was just a really wonderful thing. So that's another thing I'm really looking forward to this year. And new contacts, of course. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, it is a very encouraging atmosphere, and I was, funny enough, interviewing Philip Harper yesterday and asking him about various aspects of what he's looking for in the competition, which I won't go into now. But I was going to say, for those people that might be players at UniBrass and they're thinking about next year maybe becoming a conductor, do you have any one bit of advice for them in terms of how they should approach that?
Go for it. Honestly, just go for it. I think there's such a not stigma, but it just seems like the whole world of conducting is so shrouded and insular, and everybody sort of looks into it and it's like, I don't want to be that person at all, because it is a lot of pressure, but it is one of the most rewarding experiences. I never ever thought as I was going into this game that I would be the right person for it because I always used to be I was quite anxious growing up. I never really massively loved playing as a soloist or in a band. I'd always get really, really nervous. So to then step in front and take control of the whole lot in my third year of my undergrad, when the conducting tutor there just sort of said, just try, give it a go, and then fell in love with it like that. Honestly, you don't know until you try. So have a go. That's all I can say. Have a go.
Brilliant. Oh, well, thank you very much for your time today, Matt. Best of luck in the competition. I hope it goes well for you this year. And I'm sure I'll look with interest in terms of how everything's going.
Thank you very much, Brett. Great speaking to you.
My pleasure.
UniBrass 2023 is on Saturday the 11th of February. Tickets are on sale now from the Warwick Arts Centre box office.
I've made it over to the much posher trophy studio to join Lily here. So we've heard the last bands of the day perform now. We're just waiting for the adjudicators to make their decision. They're actually next door, so if you listen quietly, you might hear something coming through the walls.
Yeah. The wall.
What was your favourite performance of the day?
Oh, my favourite performance. This is a really tricky one. I think my favourite piece.
Okay, favourite piece we'll go with.
Favourite piece was Ticket to Ride, which was played by Bristol.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of the Beatles, so that was really cool to hear a Beatles song, and it's so different to the original song as well. I think it's a really, really creative arrangement, so it's lots of fun to listen to. But we played it over with Warwick in the Shield section.
I was going to say, I've heard that today as well.
So it was really nice to hear it perform live, because only so much can come across listening to a recording or when you sat amongst the band playing it. So to sit back and be able to listen to it was really, really cool. But, you know, themes and everything. Bristol's was incredible with the story of Brassman. And then
sorry, what was that?
Brassman, saving the day, rescuing the love of his life.
Like a superhero type thing.
Yeah, it was very dramatic. It was really good fun to listen to. York did a really cool space theme set about... it seemed to be like a spaceman, almost like lost in space on a journey.
Okay. Well, that's another interesting one, because we had a space theme in the Shield section earlier as well. So we've heard Ticket to Ride, we've heard in both sections.
Yeah.
We've had a space theme in both sections. I've heard different bits from Star Wars 3 times today. In that space theme one that Southampton did, we heard the suite from The Force Awakens. Lancaster played Rey's theme, and there was a band later on who played Imperial March as well. So John Williams has had a great day.
We all love John Williams.
Lancaster did an entire set of John Williams
music.
I've seen 2 lightsaber fights on stage. I've seen a T-Rex come on. I was gutted. The T-Rex escaped before I could do an interview. I was very sad, yes. But so John Williams had a great day with us. And film music in particular. Has that been the case in the trophy section?
Yeah, we had a good bit of Chicken Run from Leeds with their animal theme set, which was also fantastic. I think another really nice thing to hear was the student compositions. So we had 3 from Birmingham Conservatoire.
Oh, really?
They were Craggy Gardens, Undiscovered, and Atlantic Flyway. And then we had one from Birmingham as well called Fireworks. And
so those 3 from the Conservatoire, do you know were they all the same person same student who wrote them?
I think they were all different.
All different, wow.
Yeah. It was really nice being able to listen to that talent in another way in terms of brass banding.
I think one of the interesting things you find is, there are differences between the trophy and the Shield section. And the Shield section, I think, tends to have more bands that are at universities that don't have music departments. And I think that is probably why I only recall hearing one student arrangement. And in fact, I didn't hear that because it was Southampton's one, the one that their conductor arranged when I was actually in here doing interviews during their performance. But that's the only one that I'm aware of in the Shield. So it's a bit of a shame that I didn't get to hear that, because it's really exciting. And there's a prize for it at the end of the day, isn't there?
Yeah, that's very true. So what was your favourite? piece?
Well,
Performance
in
of
the
day?
Shield section, I love How to Train Your Dragon. I think as far as film music goes,
It's
yes, John
incredible.
Williams is amazing. We've heard plenty of his music, but I loved. I think it was Cardiff played How to Train Your Dragon, and I've always loved that. I used to do it with a wind band when I was at university. And the way that music sort of builds up, it's a great finisher. That particular arrangement I thought was really good as a finisher. So that was very good. Now, I did hear a bit earlier of Nightingale Dancers, which Nottingham, I think, played in the trophy section.
Yes, that's right. They finished their set with that.
And I love that piece. I heard, I think it was Queen's University Belfast did it in 2017 at UniBrass, and it's the first time I ever heard it. And I immediately went away and Googled and found out what that piece was.
Yeah.
And then sent the recording to the guy who was doing the edit for the end of the show for us, and we used it because it is a fantastic piece of music. The way it moves through the different musical styles
it's very clever.
it's like an air and variation type thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it does it in such a great way. So very glad to hear that. There was one particular moment that I really liked, and I'm a really big fan in UniBrass of, and in entertainment contests generally, of keeping the music flowing.
Yes.
So Oxford University, they did a festival theme.
Oh, right, yeah.
As in a music festival theme, and doing that indoors without mud and dust is awful. I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
But if you look at the music they did Shostakovich's Festive Overture to open,
Yeah.
which doesn't really feel like it's going to work with the next piece being Sir Duke, the pop song by Stevie Wonder, then Feeling Good, which was a flugel solo, and then Life on Mars by David Bowie. If you look, there's a really big sort of disconnect between the first piece and the second. And what they did was there's all crashing and banging at the end of the Shostakovich, and they kept the drums on, doing a roll through it, and then went straight into Sir Duke. And I thought that, I think they had a bit of talking over it, but they kept the bed of the drums, and I think it worked really, really well. So I think that's possibly my favourite moment of it.
Yeah, it sounds like, I mean, we could hear Life on Mars from backstage as Warwick were waiting to go on, and then we just saw this cohort of colour moving through the backstage as we were waiting to go on.
That wasn't a
concert
concert blacks, black socks, black shoes, black tops, was it? That was great.
It was just bucket hats, glitter everywhere. They looked amazing.
They did.
And of course, Life on Mars sounded brilliant as well.
So I believe you've got to go, and you're going to go and watch the results. So I'm going to have to let you go.
Yeah.
So we're going to let you go, but we've got James from the Brass Band Conductors Association who is going to come in and take your place now, because we're going to have a quick chat with him. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll let you go.
Yeah.
And James, in you come.
We'll see you later.
Hello, James.
Hello, you okay?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. You?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
Good. So, what are the Brass Band Conductors Association doing here at UniBrass?
So, the Brass Band Conductors Association, we work very closely with Brass Bands England, and as part of that, we started conversations with UniBrass. We're really, really keen to support an event such as UniBrass and student conductors, young conductors, and help them with their development. So, we had discussions with UniBrass about coming to the event and providing feedback for conductors. You'll go to contests a lot, and the bands will get feedback, and they know exactly what they've done, and sometimes maybe a conductor might get a word or two in that feedback. We were very keen to solely focus on the conductor and try and offer some guidance, some feedback, some suggestions about what they might do.
That's really, really good. So, just to say my background is I played in university brass bands for a while, and when I was doing my postgraduate degree, I was conducting a brass band at a university that by that stage no longer had a music department. So there was no, and I've never been a music student at university, so I've never had any formal training or really much guidance. The only guidance I ever got in conducting really was the workshops that were run the day after the UniBrass Contest, where, you know, people like Philip Harper did them, which is all very well and good, but, you know, getting that feedback sounds like it's really valuable, particularly for the people who aren't at conservatoires or aren't music students who can't get that. And how do you think that's going to play a role in shaping the future of brass banding, in identifying these sort of young leaders and bringing on the next generation of conductors?
Oh, I think it's fundamental. I think it's interesting you say, you know, with the conversations I've had with conductors today, there's a lot of, the opening question was often, how much conducting have you done? When did you start? And the number that have started in recent months and going, oh, well, we had some auditions for this year and I've had a go and I've never conducted before and I've never had any formal training. So just, from my point of view, from the association's point of view, the role of the conductor can be quite an isolated role, and there can often be a lot of stigma attached to the role that, or a conductor can't possibly ask for help because they're in charge. We're very much trying to break through that and say, it has to be a collegiate approach, it has to be a collaboration. So the opportunity to speak to people today and say, you've done it this way, what do you think about trying this thing or trying this way? And it's just a dialogue. It's not a prescriptive, these are the ways to do it and it must be done this way, but just to increase their arsenal of what they've got in their kit to be able to develop their own band's performance.
So do you think this is actually about also changing attitudes about conducting? Because I was talking to Alice, who conducted Oxford. It was at the festival theme programme that I was just talking about, actually. And in the interview afterwards, she said it was very much a group decision between the band committee and the conductor, and she didn't want to be doing all the talking on stage as well, because she didn't want to feel like it was sort of a dictator position and could be more band buy-in. And I don't think that's present in a lot of sort of more traditional banding, because the conductor is, for want of a better word, seen as a dictator.
Of course.
So is part of what you're doing about trying to change that attitude to band leadership?
I think there's a place for it. I think it's about having an open mind, and I think it's about realising that there is absolute scope for lots of input, and it can only be a good thing when you collaborate. Do you know what I mean? Like the majority of conductors, you speak to them and say, "How did you start conducting?" "Oh, well, the conductor left, and they asked me to have a go." There's very few with any formal training or anything like that, and I think the position of the conductor has to be one. To be a good leader, you've got to be a good listener. And that's musically and to speech from your people within. So I think the idea of working collaboratively within an organisation, someone might be sat there with a wonderful idea, and it might be, we try that idea, and it's not necessarily as successful as you might want it to be, but it's that trial process that's so pivotal, really.
So what in specific parts is your feedback today going to have been focused on for these conductors? Is it going to be their stage presence? Is it going to be their want of that word, the technique of waving their arms? Is it going to be the score reading? Is it going to be how they interact with the band, how they interact with the audience? What bits are you sort of focusing on today?
I think it's been very personalised to each individual. I think what's been lovely, every single conductor that I've seen, and I know there's Jack Cap staff is here from the association as well, so we're working in collaboration across the different sections. Every conductor has brought something to the table. Every conductor, regardless of having any kind of previous experience, they've all been able to deliver their performance in the way that they wanted it. So our chats have been very much focused on this. As I said, this is the way you've done it. Have you considered this? Think about when you're doing this particular type of beat pattern or this particular type of piece. Is there another way you could think about it? Is there another way you could maybe portray it to your band to aid and enhance that performance?
Well, thank you very much for coming in. It's been a really interesting conversation with you, and I hope that all of the students who are given the feedback really appreciate it and get the most out of it. We're going to go to a quick ad break, and then we're going to come back before the performance of the Warwick and Coventry Youth Brass Band. So we'll be back in a minute. Welcome back. I'm joined by Keelan from Cambridge University Brass Band, who performed as the final band of the whole day, but in the Shield section. How did you think your performance went?
I was pretty happy with it. They've put a lot of work in, and I'm really proud of what the band's managed to achieve.
Good. So when I look at the list of 4 pieces that you played, so you've got Magnificent Seven, you've got Stahlhimmel, which is an original brass band composition by Alan Fernie, you've got Holst's Suite, First Suite in E flat, and you've got a Beyonce Megamix. Can you please tell me how that strings together? Because I was over here doing interviews, I didn't manage to see your performance, and I'm just fascinated how you weave those together.
Well, as a band, we like playing a real range of music, and we thought we were trying to find a way that we could link them all together, and we came up with a storyline that is potentially a little wacky out there. I think as a band, we try to always encourage a sense of humour amongst ourselves, and I think it's sort of slightly surreal kind of thing.
So you picked the pieces and then made the theme fit around that?
Half. We had a repertoire that we started. We knew which one we wanted to start with, knew which one we wanted to end with, and then kind of made it fit in the middle.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming to join us. We're going to go live over to the hall now because Warwick and Coventry Youth Brass Band are about to make their way onto the stage for their first ever performance, and that's just before the results ceremony where we sadly say goodbye to these and they get given to a new band. So let's go over to the Warwick and Coventry Youth Brass Band.
Hello, welcome to the results ceremony.